Morning world, Hippy Trev here. Another overcast day up here in paradise. Supposed to get to 30 degrees today, but I don't think so. So you're probably all wondering why I haven't hoiked the motor out yet. So roll the intro. Hi, Hippy Trev here, and welcome to my channel. Hope you get something out of it. Right, well, so I haven't hoiked the motor out yet for a couple of reasons, and I'll get to that in a minute. So I'm just sort of test fitting this at the moment. Now, I made a video the other day of me test fitting this, and these two inner bolts here just did not line up at all, and I was sort of losing my shit a bit. And anyway, I took that video down because I realised afterwards that when I put the gaskets up, everything did line up. So anyway, the valley's just sitting in here at the moment just to keep the dirt out. So I'll lift that off. So I've got a plate to put on there. So when I lined the gaskets up on here, all the holes did actually line up. So this valley must line up with my heads, because if the gaskets line up, which they do, right. So the gaskets do actually line up. I've not got them there properly, but so it was that centre hole there. Oh, hang on. Yeah. Oh, actually, you know what? These holes don't line up. So my hissy fit. Okay, so rightio. So I was right. I was wondering, I couldn't work out what was happening before, but I know what's happening now. So these inside holes here do not line up with my head. They don't line up with these two inner holes here. So, but I have seen on some performance manifolds that they don't even have any holes here. So can I successfully bolt this manifold on without having these inner bolts in there? I guess that's the real question. Does it matter? Or do the 6 bolts hold the valley in place? Because that's the hole I'm talking about that doesn't line up, but there's this whole X area here. So maybe the 6 bolts will line up. So you've got your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bolt holes. I don't know, but let's give it a try. It can only, at the worst, not work. So I found this one gasket hanging up in the shed. I don't know why I couldn't find the other one. This gasket here. Now this is a nice thick gasket. It's really good. A little bit bent, but it's okay. These are the piss poor gaskets that come with that crap head gasket kit that I got. But what I'm thinking of doing is putting these two gaskets together on one side and putting this solid thick gasket on the other side. That's what I'm thinking. And the other reason I haven't quite hoiked the motor out yet, because I had a nice little toy show up in the mail. My little heat gun. Needs another battery into work. So I was thinking bolt this manifold on, get the valley in there, bolt it on, get it all running, make sure it is going to work with this motor and everything seals up as it should. Like I said, there's a big block off here, there's nothing there, so maybe the 6 bolts will be enough to hold it down. Then I can drive it, and if I still start having the same overheating issues on that left bank that I'm having, we can get it at my little heat gun here, and we can actually look down and go over it and pinpoint exactly what is really going on with this motor and find some hot spots. And I really want to know if this valley is going to work, so I might as well just chuck it in now, in opposed to pulling the motor out and pulling all the heads off and doing all that work and still not have anything to put back on to make the car run. Now, I don't have a spread bore gasket. I've got a new Holly gasket. Right, so this is my red line adapter plate that converts 2-barrel Holly goes on the spread bore and makes the holly work. Now what I don't have is a gasket, but I kind of do. I found this one in the shed. Now it's kind of in a couple of pieces, but I reckon with a bit of goo I can seal it up enough. I can seal this up enough to put on and basically get the car running until I can actually get a real gasket. I'll just put a light smear of glue gun, stick that on there, and hopefully I can seal it up. So that's the plan on using that. I do have a brand new holly gasket here. So anyway, well, that's the basic plan. See if we can get this valley in and make it work. Or I don't know what to do, and if it doesn't, then I'm looking for another valley. So I've still got this block off to put on yet. Still got me temp sensors to put in. I didn't have to have it drilled out. I was going to have this hole drilled out, but I don't have to. I pulled out that big plastic fitting, and that's perfectly for where the temp goes, and I'm going to fill that block. I've got this broken temp sensor that goes to the temp light. I'm just going to screw that in there and block that off. I've got a brass block off, but I'm just going to screw that in, block that off there, put my temp gauge on, left temp gauge there, right temp gauge there, and then we will see if the motor's still running hot on the left bank. So I'm not sure if I'm going to film the install. We'll see how we go, but I've got a couple of things first I need to do. I've actually ordered some new dowel pins to go in here. I hope they're the right size for, because when I put the gaskets in, they just all move around. Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to show you. These gaskets here are too long. I was never happy with how I put that other valley together, but see how they're too long? So I'm actually going to trim these up so they fit nice and neat there. There should not be that bent lip there, I don't believe. Same as the other side, and it moves around too much. So when you put it on, there is a gap either side, so I'm actually going to trim that off so it's nice and flush, because there's a bit of a lip there. I'm going to trim it so it's nice and flush, like that. Put a little glue in place. So the problem I had with the last valley is this gasket down here had moved, so I had problems down there, so I'm going to put some glue down there and hopefully hold that in place. Same thing, trim that up, and I'm going to get some Allen keys to fit this hole. I've got a funny feeling the yeah, I think the studs I bought are too big for these holes. I bought them, their head dowels. So I bought some dowels, but they're head dowels, so I think they're going to be too big for this hole, unfortunately. So I'm just going to put a couple of Allen screws in each side, slide the gaskets in, hold them in place with the Allen keys, hopefully, so they don't move around. And see how I go. Maybe getting this valley in today. Rightio, well, I'll get back to you later. Oh, and for those people who are interested, Dick facing that red Commodore that lives up the road, he's back doing 110, 100k up and down the street. We've got a kid over the road of about 8 years old that likes to get out on his push bike and ride around, and so yeah, Dick facing that red Commodore, he's back doing Dick face shit. So anyway, later. Rightio, well, so I've got the valley in. I've got all new bolts from JJ's. Ben went and found me some all shorter bolts for this, which was good. Now these two new ones did actually screw into something, although that one's come tight, but this one just feels like it's stripping thread, so I don't know what it's gone into, if it's just gone to the side of the head casing there, or what it's tapped into, but it doesn't seem to want to tighten up, but hopefully it'll be enough just to hold it in seal. All my other bolts are torqued all down, so basically the valley's pretty much in there. I guess the next stage for me is I want to put the radiator in, put the get all my temp sense in, put the radiator in, get the temp sense in, thermostat on, all sealed up, and put water in and make sure it doesn't leak water anywhere. So before I even put carbies or anything on, radiator in, thermostat in, all hoses connected, and we'll see when I go to fill up with water if we've got any water leaks. So I'll get back to you when that job's done later. Rightio, welds, radiator's in, all hoses are connected. I've done as much as I can on everything. What I think is going to happen is, because I don't think this bolt's actually bit into anything, I probably should have put some goo under there. I might even take that out and put goo under there, and I reckon that'll just piss out oil because it's under pressure from inside the valley. That one did actually nip up, so I might have touched the bolt, but this one's not, I might This one sort of gets to a point where it feels like, you know, when you strip a thread out. I should probably, well, if I fill it with goop, I'm just going to push goop down into the rocker gear, so it's probably pointless doing that. But anyway, first thing is to get this radiator filled up and make sure it holds water, doesn't leak, and I'm not doing anything else until I know this radiator's full and holding water. That's what I'm doing next. So, righty, I'll get back to you. Yeah, well, so that dick face in his shitbox red dunny door just went flying past. And I thought I heard him start up down the street and start coming back, so I'm going to try and catch this arsehole on film. As he's coming the top end now. Cheeky little fucker. That's him right up there, pulling up. I'll have to listen out for him for the next time he goes flying past. Maybe someone gave him the heads up I had the camera out. So he certainly fucking snuck home, the little cunt. He certainly didn't sneak down the street. He was doing a good old 100k down that main house, out that street behind me there. He went flying past at least at 100. So he's really hard to catch. By the time I hear his car start up, he's already past me. So anyway, so that's where we're at. Radiator's full of water. Don't really have any water leaks. This fitting here is dripping. This brand new temp center fitting is leaking. Not the part that screws into the valley, but the part where it secures itself into its brass fitting, that's leaking. Other than that, so really the only thing left to do now is carby on, connect up the throttle linkage, coil on, power up, and we should be good to go. So I'll get back to you later. So, righto, Wells, I'll get back to you later when I'm ready to start. Later. Righto, Wells, well, I got it running. You're running a bit rough. And she's running. Sounds different. Definitely sounds a bit different out the back. Well, that's got anything to do with the manifold. So now I'm just going to wait for the water level to drop. I've got the idle up. I have to probably readjust all the idle and everything. Water's in the radiator. I've got her all idling pretty quick. That's okay. Now I guess the next one is we wait for the temp gauges to come up. Yeah, she certainly sounds a bit rougher than she did. Well, it just sounds different. You know, it could be air leaking around that gasket that I used on the carby to seal it on the spread bore. I mean, that was bits and pieces of carby I just put together. I put a bit of bloody that goop down on and stuck it into place, and a little bit of blue goop where there was a gap, and so it could be sucking air through there. I wouldn't be surprised if it is, and that's why she's running a bit rough as well. Certainly sounds different. I want to bring her up to operating temp, make sure I've got no water leaks before I go anywhere. Bring that idle down. Oh, I forgot to put the other posts in for the other return spring. Yeah, she definitely sounds different. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but wow, she's running. She's running. Just come up, all good. Panicked. She's running a bit rough, but like I said, that she sounds like she's running a bit rough, but that could be because of that carby gasket, that spreadboard gasket that I had in pieces. Both gauges are looking pretty even now. So what I need to happen now is I need the thermostat to open up and have the water level drop here. I normally have another return spring coming off this bolt here and I forgot to put it on. Left bank's running hotter. I'm about 4 or 5 degrees. Just wait for the thermostat to open. Not making that mistake again. It's definitely hotter than the left, on the left than the right. Definitely bloody open by now. Hasn't. A bit of air down in there, I think. There it goes. That's what we want. I'm just going to let it run for a little while longer, see if the temp comes up and thermostat reopens again. Now I've got all those air bubbles out. You can just sit here and idle for a while. Alright, I'll get back to you later. Bye. Alright, well, so I've been out on a bit of a run, went around the tip run, and yeah, she went up to 100 and then the left gauge hit 110 again. So I've just been sitting here idling for a few minutes. Left bank's definitely hotter than the right by a little bit. I'm going to go out for another turn off run. Let's go. So at the end of the day, it's still the same old problem. It seems to be anyway, that the left bank still spins around to 110 Celsius, while the right one just stays just above 80. I need my car on the road. I need to go to Bundy and get gas bottles filled. What I might do in the short term is put that lower operating thermostat in. Didn't overheat with that lower operating thermostat in, and make this just a safe car to run. Oh, I've got a slow ass car in front of me, what the hell? Oh, look at this, doing 40 mile an hour. I can't pass with this car coming. Look at this, we're out in the highway and they're doing 40 mile an hour. Rubbernecking. I can see him looking out the windows. Alright, I've got to get past this clown. Bloody old rubbernecks. Alright, we're up to 65. Left bank topping the 100 Celsius, right bank 82 Celsius. So nothing's changed, not really. But I did want to find out if that manifold was actually going to work, and it seems to be working. So running at 100 Celsius, it's not even pegging back, it's just holding at 100. I believe it's too hot. Especially on the right side, the motor's only doing 80. Left side, 100. bit now. Back up to its 100. Feels wonderful to drive Dad's boot again, the boat. I spent all last week working on Michelle's van till she left on Thursday. And I put a lot of effort into that van underneath and crawling around and pulling wires and fixing things, and I worked my ass off for her for almost a week. And it's good to be able to turn my attention back to this. So I'm just going to pull up my little turnaround spot here. Oh, traffic on the road today, so we're going to pull up. This is my little turnaround spot. It's about 3 to 5, about 4, maybe 5 miles out of town. Get under, pop the bonnet, make sure I've got no water leaks. I'll take you guys with me. Let's go and have a look. Oh yeah, so everything looks good, no water leaks. Oh, except that fucking tent gauge was a drip. It just didn't seat properly. I'll have to look into that later. So everything else looks good. Put my cap here. There is some pressure there, a little bit of pressure. Water's good. There's idling a tad high for what I like. I can get that down a bit. Yeah, that's more my idle. I like them idling really low. What are we idling? Just on, what we got? About 500 or 600 RPM. So, well, the left bank is definitely hotter. God, there's a lot of traffic on the road today. Bloody heaps of it. Sitting on about 65 mile an hour. It's actually looking good. Up, there she goes, getting up. You know, if it sat about there and didn't go past that, if it sat at 90, even though the other one's on 80, if it sat at 90, I could live with that. But when it starts going up and hitting 110 Celsius, that's sort of getting a little bit hot. I don't even like it hitting 100 Celsius. Oh, she feels good. Can't wait to get the extractors on. There we go, 100. Oh, just nearly at 100. likes 90 Celsius, or between 90 and 100 by the look of it. Right bank, it likes being at 80. It's all very bloody weird. You know what? I'm going to call it a day there, and I'm going to live with it like that. Might do a run up to Bundy, maybe book in, have my extractors put on. Nice old duck gave me a wave. Dick Face's red fucking dunny door is back screaming up and down the streets at fucking 100k an hour. There he is there, walking in with his dumbass bitch. Yeah, Dick Face. Dick Face and his red dunny door is back doing 100 and plus k's up and down our street. What an idiot. Alright, so, well, I mean, she spun around once and hit 110, but it hasn't really done it again. It's definitely running hotter on that left bank, but overall it's actually somewhat of an improvement. Rightio, well, I'm going to leave it there. I'm just going to drive this and keep an eye on it. I may end up going back to that lower thermostat opening, just to keep it running, and maybe put a couple more flushes through it. I don't know why I bother. It doesn't seem to do anything. At this stage, all right, I've cancelled hoiking the motor out. I don't think I have to do that right now. That still might happen, but maybe I don't have to pull the heads and all that off again. Maybe it's just a case of lift the motor out, pop the wash plugs out, give it a good clean and put it all back without having to strip the whole motor back down again. So that's sort of where we're at the moment. So, okay, at the moment, this temp gauge fitting here, this piece of shit brand new temp gauge, I'll be sending them an email, is dripping. It won't seat. I still need a new spread bore gas gun to there. I mean, that's probably why it's running rough. It's got a new Holly gas gun on it. Other than that, we're actually looking pretty good. So, rightio, Walls, I'm going to leave it as a running boat right now. I just put the lower opening thermostat back in just to keep the motor safe and make sure, you know, I'll drive around here a little bit, and if she keeps peaking at 110, I'll definitely put that lower thermostat in there just to keep her at a safe level and do the run the Bundy I really need to do. So anyway, Worlds, I think we've had a bit of a win with Glenn's manifold, even though all the bolt holes didn't actually line up. I got it in there and I've got it working. So anyway, stay safe, keep your knees in the breeze, and I'll catch you later. Bye.